let's start the day in this video with a quick beach cleanup. Oh, it's gonna be a pretty day today, I could just tell. We got a shred of newspaper, a piece of paper with a random number on it. We got whatever this is, and some type 6 polystyrene plastic, or styrofoam. That's the best way to start a day, and you cannot convince me otherwise. Okay, so real quick, before we dumpster dive into what I want to talk about today, I just gotta thank you all for 100,000 subscribers. There's my plaque. I feel like a real YouTuber now. I say this all the time, but I picked up a piece of trash one day and my entire life changed. And I genuinely love picking up trash every single day on YouTube Shorts, but I'm excited to make longer, more in-depth videos like this one. And with that being said, can we talk about youth climate activism? Over the past few years, we have seen some really effective, controversial, and honestly unhinged climate activism. It seems like the more our policymakers and world leaders continue to ignore this issue, the louder young voices get. And this is very relevant in their lives. For example, there are live stream presidential battles on TikTok.
What happened? What happened?
Come on, you guys.
I know. You're not gonna win.
Okay, we're like tied right now.
Bro! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Could you imagine if this is how we actually voted in the US?
Oh my gosh!
Sorry, Joe. You were getting a lot of roses out there tonight, but the people just didn't come through with enough galaxies. I don't even think we should ask for a recount. The gift combos don't lie.
I'm beginning to see why your wife left you.
I've also found a mobile app game that uses like world leaders as characters. All of that to say, no wonder we're seeing a spike in youth activism. And this isn't even the first time in history that we've seen young people take a stand. In 1968, German students blocked tram tracks to protest the rise of public transportation fees. In 1971, 800 students in London protested the termination of one of their favorite teachers who was fired for publishing one of the students' poetry. Even as far back as the early 1800s, kids in Georgia would learn about the horrors of slave trading and actively boycotted any sugar that was made by enslaved people. You know how bad you gotta mess up to make children boycott sugar? Personally though, my favorite example is April 22nd, 1970. The first ever Earth Day was actually a youth-driven event which sparked the participation of over 10,000 schools and 20 million Americans, making it one of the largest demonstrations in US history. If only all of those kids could see us now, I'm sure they would love paper straws. Wait, say you were 10 years old in 1970. That was 54 years ago, so that would make you 64 years old today. Y'all really started Earth Day. But over a plate of mashed potatoes, you want to tell me I'm crazy for caring about climate change? What happened? What I'm trying to say is, again, no wonder we're seeing a rise in youth activism. All of the issues in each of the examples I just gave directly affected young people. Except for maybe the Georgian kids. I'm sure that issue affected them in some way, but it just wasn't as obvious as the other examples. 1800s Georgian kids were just like, oh, y'all are using slaves? We're good. Yeah, we're good. You've probably heard this a million times, but there's a common sentiment today along the lines of, our future generations are the ones adopting our careless choices, or something like that. And that's corny, but it's also true. And I think that it's become so common and corny that we forget that it's true. To me, it makes so much sense why climate activism specifically has been synonymous with Gen Z and millennials. We are inheriting a system that we don't even want. Now, I specifically want to focus on Gen Z and maybe even Gen Alpha and ask, how can you make your voice heard when you're not even old enough to vote? I want to look at what kind of activism has worked in the past and what works today. What makes something controversial, and is controversy a powerful tool? Just gonna spoil that one for you. The answer is not always. And finally, I want to showcase some youth activists that I am personally a fan of. So let's jump right in. But first, I got Kinetic Sand, and I just wanted to show you. It's so satisfying. So I'm actually gonna just play with this while we jump into the question of how can you be heard if you can't vote? And well, hopefully the answer is obvious at this point. Protests, strikes, and overall activism is a strong way to be heard. And today, that hasn't changed. If anything, being more connected has allowed us to strike longer, organize larger walkouts, and make boycotts hit pockets harder, faster. But in today's world, there has been a rise of a new shape of activism. Online activism. Okay, that's enough sand. For activism to work at all, it requires two opposing parties to listen. That is why echo chambers are so dangerous. If 30,000 people follow me on Instagram, which you totally should too as well, it's right there. Hypothetically, let's say all 30,000 people here followed me specifically because they actively recycle every single day. If I go on my story and say, "Hi everybody, don't forget to recycle today. It's good for the planet." Well, all of them were already gonna do that, so I haven't changed or influenced anything. Activism has a forever home online because when done intentionally and correctly, one voice could be heard around the world in an instant. A great example of this is Greta. Her bravery and vulnerability when demanding change in front of the whole world sparked a global climate strike. And a not so great example of online activism is Just Stop Oil. Don't get me wrong, I can absolutely respect the sentiment and the overall messaging they're going for, but I think this is a good time to answer, is controversy a powerful tool? I spoiled it earlier. I don't think so. Will an unhinged controversy amplify your message? 100%. But despite what we've known in the past, I genuinely don't believe that even bad publicity is good publicity. And that's not to say that this wasn't true just even a decade ago. There are plenty of examples of people who have taken bad publicity and turned it into long, incredibly profitable, culturally significant careers. But today we are so polarized. Disinformation continues to push us farther apart and our attention spans are shrinking. Meaning, bad publicity just doesn't hit like it used to. Like, look at the Island Boys. Remember them? Yeah, don't Google what they've been up to. So does covering famous works of art in bright orange paint get people to hear the sentiment, "Just stop oil"? Or does gluing your hand to the street lead people to hearing the message, "Just stop oil"? Yeah, but it also further roots people in their opposing beliefs, and if there's somebody on the fence unsure of how they feel, this will just push them further away. The banks, though? I can get behind this one. I can't imagine this did too much, but hey, small wins. Anyway, luckily, there are far more really awesome youth activists out there as opposed to silly ones. Some of my favorites being GenZ for Change. Launching in 2020, GenZ for Change set out to make the world a better place for their generation and generations to come. Since their inception, they have accumulated over 26 million views and have raised over $2 million for abortion funds. Next is Bodhi. Bodhi is a young ocean climate solutionist based in Hawaii. Bro has the most radiant energy and will absolutely put a smile on your face. Ryan's recycling. Ryan started recycling when he was only 3 years old. He's 14 today and has been named 2023's Future Minds 25 Under 25 list, amongst a long list of awards. And finally, the Trash Turtles. CO and the Trash Turtles get a little star on this list because they're hometown real-life friends. CO was also super young when she created Trash Turtles, and I always have a blast at her cleanups. Activism could be big or small. The main point is you're making your voice heard and creating your boundaries. Now, before I wrap this video up, I forgot to mention, I've been mentoring a few high school students, and we actually have a beach cleanup scheduled for right now. So let's go do that. What better way to encourage youth activism than to join them? All right, so today we're out here on Clearwater Beach, and I am with
Alex.
Alex, what grade are you in?
I'm in 11th grade.
11th grade, let's go. And?
Neha.
Neha, what grade are you in? 10th grade. Okay, we are out here on Clearwater Beach today to pick up some trash. So since it's kind of during the day, if it's sitting near something, let's not take it. But if it's clearly trash, like buried, we're good to grab it. Don't want to do any thievery today. When was the last time you guys did a beach cleanup?
Never?
This is your first one?
Yeah.
Oh, no way. Let's go. There you go. You can tell this is your first beach cleanup. Okay, I'm just kidding. There you go. Good grab. Oh, man. The non-glove hand. Cheers. My bad. Look, Jaden, it's almost your name, and it's also your name.
Oh, okay.
Whoa, what is that? Oh my gosh. That's the entire Clearwater Beach electrical grid. Yeah, that's probably not the safest thing. Tell me how I just found a napkin and a cig butt, and then I look over here and it's a napkin and a cig butt. Is this what you guys were expecting you would see out here so far? Cigarette butts and napkins?
Yeah, pretty much.
Neha's probably grabbed like an entire carton of cigarette butts by this point.
There's the Pringles.
There's the top of the Pringles. Fireball, gnarly. Mayonnaise, gnarly. Oh my gosh, why do I always find band-aids? See, look, okay, now I want to be like, oh, someone missed the trash can, but if you really like take a look at this scene, there's a ton of like birds' feet around here. So realistically, the birds will just get into these because they don't have lids and pull them out. Yep, grab that just like a bird would. Thursday. You know what? That's so true. Someone went out of their way to do this. That's what I don't understand. That's not just like an accident. This, I gotta know the story behind this. This is like a pine cone ritual, like, and this doesn't even have pine cones in it. Someone brought these over here. So many candy bars out here. A little string. It looks like an anklet, maybe. Oh, there you go. Oh. Another Band-Aid. Ew. Gross, dude. What? Oh my gosh, that's so gross. Fake flower petals is absolutely the stupidest thing to me when real flower petals exist. Bro, Alex is on chip duty today, bro. You've got like every single type. Nate has got Sig Butts. Alex has got chips. I've got Band-Aids. Just straight up napkins everywhere. Y'all want to clean your hands, but not the beach, huh? This is crazy. Y'all gotta stay hydrated. Finish your water. So now we're just gonna take a look at everything that we found. First of all, what do you think we were finding like the most of?
Probably Sig Butts.
Sig Butts, definitely probably number one. And also tons of water bottles and like food wrappers, which is pretty common for Clearwater Beach. This is a big popular beach for tourists. So I like call it picnic plastic. It's like what you would use throughout the day, like on a picnic. I don't think Clearwater Beach really recycles, unfortunately, so separating it doesn't make too much sense. So we'll just kind of drop it. I don't want to do one of these. So yeah, there we go. Let's do that. Okay, we're back. If you're still watching, I have a question for you. Out of these two emojis, which one do you think would win in a fight? Subscribe to help fight plastic pollution, and I will see you next Saturday and every Saturday. Peace. I made this toy box. Didn't last long though. This box ended up in a landfill. So I made this toy box, and I really liked this one, but it got destroyed by a hurricane. All I want to do is give toys to kids who don't have any while fighting plastic pollution. But this plastic pollution can